For the next few moments, we'll be talking about visual schedules. A consistent daily schedule can be comforting for children with autism and, to be honest, for just about everyone. Anxiety can arise when children or adults don't know what their day will look like, or when they will have time to take a break. We'll go through a few examples of using a visual schedule to assist with implementing daily schedules. Some tips for getting started. First and foremost, be in contact with your child's teacher. Ask them what type of schedules are they using at school. Were they using picture schedules, or maybe they needed to use real objects? Having this information and implementing things as closely as what was being done in your child's class will help decrease the learning curve and increase the child's understanding of the visual schedule being used at home. Also, when you're talking with the child's teacher, ask how often breaks need to be built into your child's schedule. Some additional quick tips. To make the schedule more durable and last longer, laminate it with packing tape. Most of us don't have access to a laminator at home, but most of us do have packing tape laying around. All that you have to do is set out your materials, tape them on both sides, and there you go. You have a very durable, long-lasting schedule. Give your child a choice whenever possible. So, as listed on the slide, if it doesn't matter if they do reading or math first, let them pick. Providing something as simple as choice can really decrease power struggles. Break down long assignments into smaller chunks. Now, this doesn't have to be just academic assignments. It can also be if you have a specific chore that you want them to do, or maybe it's even breaking down how to play a specific game. If you can break it down into smaller chunks and celebrate their progress along the way, that'll do a lot for both the child and the adult in the situation and being reinforced and understanding that they are moving in the right direction in completing the activity or project. Some additional tips. Some children will need their schedule broken down into parts of the day. A morning and an afternoon schedule are a great place to start if you're unsure of how the schedule was being done at the child's class. But some individuals need a more narrow time frame. So they might do better with even just 1 hour of a schedule being available to them to access at any given point. The order of the schedule should stay the same to the best of your ability. This helps provide consistency and routine, and everyone appreciates that. Some additional quick tips. Be consistent in the use of the schedule. Once you have found a schedule that is working for your loved one, be consistent in using it. Just because it's working doesn't mean you need to stop using it. It's working because you are using it, most likely. Remember, the goal is that the child will manipulate the schedule. Anytime we use or implement visual supports throughout the environment, it's so that an individual can be as independent as possible. So if you are implementing visual schedules for a first time in your home, as you are working through it, always in the back of your mind, be thinking about how can I fade out my supports. So you very well might need to do hand-over-hand support of removing items as they complete them off of their schedule, or prompting them to look at their schedule. But over time, these prompts should be removed so that they can become more independent in navigating their schedule and therefore navigating their day. This is an example of an electronic schedule. Most of us have calendars on our phones or on our computers. Some of us still have them on paper. Please be aware that there are lots and lots of apps out there that can help with schedules. I would encourage you that if you do choose to use one of these, once you select it, try it out for a few days yourself before you try to implement it and sharing it with your child. That way you know the ins and outs of how it works, and you might also find that it isn't going to be a good fit for your family. This is an example of a written schedule. This individual does really well with having 5 items at a time. So if you look at this schedule, you can also see that they need to know when their break is and be reminded of how long that break is. So they're less concerned with how many math facts they're going to do or how long they'll be in English. Rather, they really need to know how long is the break and when does that happen. As the caregiver in this situation, you also have a role. So if an individual is really struggling, when they're on number 3 with math facts, maybe they only have to do 1 or 2 math facts, where on an awesome day, they might need to do more than that. The goal is always to work through the visual schedule and allowing them to be as independent as possible. You'll also see on this that they are marking out the items as they complete them. This is super simple, nothing fancy, and it's something that everyone could implement right now in their own homes. Here are 2 examples of picture schedule. The one on the left is generic. It simply says My Schedule, and you can see all the different icon pictures that are available for the caregiver to select and put into this order of 4 items. The one on the right, it does say PM on it, and so my guess is that for that loved one, you would also have one that says AM. With both of these, what is nice is that these have removable photos. So if you're using these in your home, you could use magnets and have them attached to your refrigerator. You could use Velcro. You could use tape that's been folded over. Make these work for your family in the best way that you can. These are both examples of visual daily schedules. So it's important to remember that activity schedules might also exist. So an individual, once they get to the kitchen for breakfast, might find an activity schedule that lists out the steps necessary to making themselves a bowl of cereal, or frying an egg, or toasting some bread. On the right, this list starts after dinner. So after dinner, they start using their PM list. They are immediately supposed to play after dinner. After playing, they have a bedtime snack. Then they go and have a shower, and then finally it's bedtime. For some individuals, they'll simply mark them off. Other individuals might need to remove these and place them in a done bin or envelope. Do what works best for your family. These are 2 other examples of picture schedules. For the example that's on the left, they have simply used a folder or construction paper that allows the individual to flip over when an item is done. So, after they've woken up, they flip over that check mark from red to green, showing that it's done. So you can see that they are currently on brushing teeth and washing face. That's supposed to happen at 6:30. Once they've finished with that, likewise, they'll flip over that green check mark and they'll move on to the next item of brushing hair. The example on the right is a morning schedule, and it allows an individual to place 4 items on here. What I like about this one in particular is that it is very flexible. You can use as many items as you need to, or you can have as few items as you need to, whatever works best on that specific day for your loved one. It also provides flexibility, so if an individual has to go to the doctor's office or if they have a specific caregiver coming that day, you could add information about that. The other thing that I like about this example is that it does remind us to take breaks. Individuals need to take breaks, all individuals, including you and I. Individuals need to ensure that they know when a break is coming and what they can do during those breaks. You might want to have different activity schedules available for them to choose what to do during their break time. Some individuals need object schedules. So we've shown you digital schedules, written schedules, visual schedules that are just using pictures, and this one is actually objects. Some individuals need to know what specific items are associated with different times. So the example on the left has a fork for mealtime, a cloth for wiping face, a toothbrush for brushing teeth, and a comb for combing hair. The example on the right has a bowl of food and it has a diaper. So this would indicate that it's time to eat and then it's time for a diaper change. Some individuals respond really well to objects. I do like to include the visual pictures as well as the written words, just to start pairing those 2 items with those objects so that the individual can move towards that level of independence as well over the period of time. When you're using a schedule, you always want to provide the level of support that they need to be successful on their most challenging or trying of days. I hope that you've learned a few different ways of implementing schedules in your home. Remember, these can be daily schedules that go through large chunks of time or very small pieces of time, such as just 1 hour or a specific period of the day. Don't forget that you can use activity schedules for implementing specific aspects of your daily schedule, so they'll have a better understanding and greater independence in completing tasks during that specific activity. Remember my example with breakfast. We hope that you will take this opportunity to implement visual schedules in your home. If you have questions, don't forget to reach out to your child's teacher. That's a great place to start. And we're an email away if you need our assistance at the Kentucky Autism Training Center. Don't hesitate to reach out. We wish you the best and be well.